Welcome to Unexplained Multiverse, where the line between this reality and others cease to exist. Join me as we uncover and narrate mind-bending stories and explore the mysteries that challenge our understanding of our strange and unexplained universe. Today's journey into the unknown multiverse takes us deep into the heart of two terrifying encounters with the legendary Bigfoot. First, we'll venture into the secluded forests of Oregon, where a solo hiker stumbles upon giant footprints and unsettling evidence that suggest he's not alone. As he delves deeper, he realizes something is watching him, something that defies explanation. Next, we'll head to the Cascade Range in Washington, where a peaceful camping trip turns into a harrowing ordeal. A seasoned camper is pursued by a massive, shadowy figure, leading to a desperate race for survival. Each snap of a twig, each echoing growl, brings him closer to the realization that he's being hunted by an ancient predator. Join us as we unravel these spine-chilling tales of mystery and fear, and explore the possibility that Bigfoot might be more than just a legend. Buckle up, because this journey into the unknown is not for the faint of heart. Now, before we dive into this mysterious tale, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. If you have any stories or experiences that blur the lines between reality and the unknown, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. All right, now on to the story. Okay, so I don't usually post stuff like this, but I can't keep it to myself any longer. If anyone here is from Oregon, specifically around the Blue Mountains, I need to know if you've seen anything strange. And by strange, I mean Bigfoot strange. It all started last fall. I was out hiking alone, something I do often. There's this one trail off the beaten path that I swear nobody else knows about. It's beautiful and secluded, perfect for clearing my head. This time, though, it was different. I found something, or rather, something found me. It was just before dusk, the light filtering through the dense canopy. I was snapping pictures of the scenery when I noticed an odd pattern on the ground, what looked like footprints. These weren't just any footprints. They were huge, at least 18 inches long and wide too. At first, I thought they might belong to a bear, but they were oddly human-like. 5 distinct toes. I shrugged it off, thinking maybe someone was playing a prank, and continued on my way. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I returned to the spot with a tape measure and my camera, determined to document what I saw. The footprints were still there, clear as day and leading deeper into the forest. My curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to follow them. I hiked for what felt like miles, the trail getting denser and more difficult to navigate. The air grew colder and the forest quieter, as if every living thing was holding its breath. That's when I stumbled upon the first piece of evidence. A large tuft of dark, matted hair caught on a branch about 7 feet off the ground. It was coarse and unlike anything I'd seen before. I carefully bagged it, my hands trembling. Pressing on, I found more strange signs. Trees with deep gouges, like something had scraped them with enormous claws. Piles of scat, bigger than any animal droppings I'd encountered in these woods. And then, the most chilling find, a primitive makeshift shelter constructed from branches and leaves, hidden in a dense thicket. Inside, I found what looked like a nesting area, with more hair and even bones, small animal bones, but gnawed in a way that suggested something with powerful jaws. I should have turned back, but I was too intrigued. I set up a trail camera near the shelter, hoping to catch whatever was using it. For the next few weeks, I checked the camera religiously. The footage showed nothing but the usual wildlife until one night. That's when I saw it. A massive, shadowy figure moving just beyond the camera's range. It was only a glimpse, but it was enough. This wasn't a bear or any animal I knew. It moved with an eerie, almost human-like gait. I showed the footage to a friend who's a wildlife biologist. He couldn't explain it. His exact words were, "I don't know what that is, but it's not anything documented." We both agreed to keep it quiet for now, to avoid drawing attention and potentially scaring off whatever it was. Months went by. I became obsessed, spending every free moment in those woods. I set up more cameras, left out food as bait, and even tried to track it. I collected more hair samples, found more footprints, and once, I heard it. A low, guttural growl that sent chills down my spine. It was close, too close. I never saw it that day, but I knew it was watching me. Then, a breakthrough. One of my cameras captured a clear shot. A towering, hulking figure covered in dark hair, its face partially obscured but unmistakably simian. The eyes, those eyes still haunt me. They looked almost intelligent, curious but wary. It was real. Bigfoot was real. I had to share this with someone. I reached out to a few researchers, those who wouldn't dismiss me as a crackpot. They were intrigued but cautious, wanting more evidence. So, I continued my solitary quest, gathering more proof. The last straw came 3 weeks ago. I found a cave, hidden deep in the mountains. Inside were more signs, bones, remnants of kills, and even crude drawings on the walls, depicting what looked like hunts and family groups. As I was documenting everything, I felt it again, that chilling sensation of being watched. I turned and there it was, standing at the cave entrance, watching me with those piercing eyes. My heart was pounding. The air was thick with tension. I froze, not daring to move. The seconds felt like hours. Then a sound came from outside, a distant howl, maybe another of its kind. The figure hesitated, glancing back towards the noise. That's when it turned and walked away, disappearing into the dense forest. I waited, not daring to breathe before making my escape. I haven't been back since. I handed over the hair samples and some of the footage to the researchers, but they haven't returned them, and now they've gone suspiciously quiet. I don't know if they're hiding something or just don't believe me. Strangely, some of my cameras have gone missing and others have stopped working without any explanation. I don't have much to show now, but I swear on everything I saw it. If you've seen anything at all, please let me know. I can't be the only one. I never thought I'd be the type to share something like this, but here we are. Imagine the most peaceful, secluded spot you've ever been, a place that feels almost otherworldly in its untouched beauty. That's where it all began. But now, every time I close my eyes, I see it. Every time I hear a rustle in the trees, my heart races. I can't shake the feeling that something is out there, watching, waiting. It was late last summer when I decided to go on a solo camping trip in the Cascade Range, Washington. I needed a break from the daily grind, a reset button for my mind. I'd found this pristine hidden lake a couple of years ago, way off any marked trail. It was my secret haven, or so I thought. The first night, I was alone by the campfire, the stars reflecting off the still water, when I heard it. A howl so deep and resonant it seemed to vibrate through my bones. I'm no stranger to the sounds of the wild, but this was different. Not a wolf, not a bear, but something more ancient, more primal. I laughed it off, thinking maybe I was just on edge from the solitude. The next day, I decided to explore. About a mile from my campsite, I stumbled upon a path that seemed like it hadn't been touched in ages. It led to a small clearing with an enormous tree in the center, its bark marked with deep scratches, and around its base, massive footprints. Human-like, but impossibly large. I took out my phone and snapped a few pictures, half-jokingly thinking I'd found Bigfoot's backyard. That night, around midnight, I was jolted awake by the sound of heavy footsteps circling my tent. I lay there, my heart pounding, trying to convince myself it was just a deer or maybe an elk. But the steps were deliberate, heavy. They stopped, and for a moment, there was silence. Then my tent was hit by something powerful, like a boulder had been thrown at it. I scrambled out, flashlight in hand, but saw nothing. The rest of the night, I sat by the fire, clutching my hatchet, eyes darting at every sound. Determined not to let my imagination get the best of me, I decided to stay one more day. I found more footprints around my camp, along with tufts of coarse, dark hair. The sense of being watched was overwhelming. I packed up, ready to head back to civilization, but the forest seemed to close in around me. The GPS on my phone malfunctioned, and I found myself lost. As I was trying to find my way back, I stumbled upon something even more disturbing: a deer carcass, freshly killed and torn apart with a brutality that made my stomach turn. The same coarse hair was caught in its wounds. I felt a surge of panic and knew I had to get out of there. But it was too late. The sun was setting, and the forest was growing darker. I felt eyes on me, a predatory gaze that sent shivers down my spine. Every rustle, every snap of a twig made my heart race faster. I started to run, not caring about the direction, just needing to put distance between me and whatever was out there. That's when I saw it, a massive figure moving swiftly through the trees, always just at the edge of my vision. It was stalking me, toying with me. I tripped over a root and went sprawling, losing my phone in the process. Scrambling to my feet, I saw it clearly for the first time, towering, covered in dark, matted hair, with eyes that burned with an almost malevolent intelligence. I took off again, adrenaline fueling my flight. The terrain was unforgiving, branches scratching at my face and arms, rocks cutting into my feet through my thin hiking boots. I could hear it behind me, its heavy footsteps and occasional growls spurring me on. I stumbled into another clearing, breathing heavily, and realized with horror that I had circled back to the tree with the deep scratches. Desperate, I ducked behind a large rock, trying to stay silent. The forest was eerily quiet, the only sound my ragged breathing. Minutes felt like hours as I crouched in the darkness, my ears straining for any sound. Then I heard it, the slow, deliberate steps of the creature moving through the trees. It was hunting me, and there was nowhere left to run. In a last-ditch effort, I picked up a large branch and waited, trying to control my breathing. The footsteps grew closer, the creature's growls echoing off the trees. Just as I saw its massive silhouette at the edge of the clearing, a loud crack of thunder echoed through the forest, followed by a torrential downpour. The creature hesitated, glancing back toward the storm. Taking advantage of its distraction, I bolted from the clearing and ran towards the sound of the rain. The storm was fierce, lightning illuminating the forest in flashes. The rain made it harder for the creature to track me, and I used the cover to put as much distance between us as possible. By some miracle, I stumbled upon an old logging road and followed it until I reached a ranger station, soaked and exhausted. The rangers didn't believe my story, attributing it to a bear encounter and my heightened state of fear. They escorted me back to my car and I drove home, my mind reeling from the experience. Since then, I've started noticing things around my house, shadows moving in the trees, strange noises at night. Last week, I found more of that coarse hair caught on my backyard fence. I honestly don't know what to do or think anymore. I just want things to go back to normal. Please, just make it stop. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the weird and unexplained. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, keep your eyes open and your mind sharp, because the next story might just be your own.